So let's have a look at what ETL and ELT process is as quick as possible. So one of the primary example which I really love about ETL and ELT is extracting out the oil, maybe the gas, or maybe any sort of natural resources, be it coal also. So there could be two methods. The first method could be you are extracting out the oil from a drilling point, and you're transforming at that site directly, and from there you are supposed to send it to the user, to the customers, for the advancement of your country, maybe for cooking anything, running your vehicles. So for that there could be two ways. One is the stream way. You are sending it through pipelines. That could be one, could be a gas pipeline, could be one for the petrol, another for kerosene or diesel. There another way of sending it into batches on a ship. So there is two way of sending data for further processing, for further usage, and then before the usage we kind of store it at a point. And that's the very core idea of ETL, is that first we are extracting out, then we are transforming it, and then we're sending it through either in a stream way or a batch way, or maybe some sort of there could be like a different way of streaming, the direct streaming, they're sending it all together continuously. They could be partially streaming. There are multiple ways, even with the batch processes. The second part is the ELT, and as the name suggests, what we are doing is just extracting out the crude oil. We're sending it through the stream, or could be the ship, into the batches also. I just forgot to put the image right here. And then you're loading it at a point, and then you're refining it at a place. So usually what happens is that, for example, if a crude oil is being extracted out from a Middle Eastern country, or maybe from Russia or from Venezuela, it's being transported via the ships or via the pipelines, and then it's been stored. And over there, afterwards, the country over there, it refines it according to their needs. So it kind of cost effective for some countries, maybe not for some countries. If there is a small country, they kind of go for the ETL process. For a large country, they might be able to build a refinery, so they just buy the crude oil, which saves money. Okay, so these are the two ways of dealing with the data in system also. So now, data integration means pulling out resources from multiple sources. For example, there could be a way that your gas is coming from Iran, and then there is a way that the crude oil is coming from Russia. So there could be multiple points of extracting out different types of data. So one of the first look, we all know the very first step is going to be the discovery of oil pit or the coal mine or any sort of natural resources below the ground. Then we started extracting out, we started transforming it, we store it, we kind of load it, and then we do some quality checks. And quality checks is one of the most crucial point in this ETL and ELT processes, because see, the pipelines are going through entire cities, countries, continents, and you have to make sure that they are working, functioning well. There is no leakage, there is no sort of a burst of the pipeline, which might actually occurs quite a lot of time. You're sending your data via the trucks, so the trucks needs to be in a proper way, they are on time, everything needs to be synced. Okay, it's the need of that in our current scenarios. Now these two processes, these two method of extracting out, dealing with data, useful in some sort of in DevOps also, but most prominently in data engineering. So when you're dealing with data, you're engineering the data. You can think of this as a refinery process again, where you as a plant engineer going out throughout checking the pipelines, going through a point where there is a loading storage also there, and then there you're making sure that everything is coming on the right time, at the right pressure, the pipelines are maintaining the pressures, the gauges are working or not. It's exactly like that, just it's in a modern way, it's in a system, it's a virtual way. Okay, now the two processes have been there are some drawbacks and benefits. Just pause the video and you can just read it. It's so simple. It depends on the situation again, like just like the system design. Either you can go with a monolith architecture, or could be the micro based architecture. It depends. Maybe sometimes you have to transform from your micro architecture to the macro one, the monolith one. So microservices to monolith to microservices. Again, it depends on the situation, what sort of the need is. So ETL and the benefits of ELTs are also there. So you can see it, and you can pause it just right here. Now the point is that there are different approaches for these data integrations. Okay, there are certain tools to do this. For example, for a drilling mine, you started drilling out the hole. For a coal mine, for example, you need excavators. For a gas, you're not going to drill down again. Now there are different processes to put the pipelines, and being really careful that there is no fire, because it's very dangerous to deal with in a gas pit. So there are certain tools here, a few of them being listed. You can read it. And the first step is extracting our data. Again, we are just extracting out our data now. Okay, so here there are two ways or three ways, or there's just few ways. One of them is a partial extraction. So for example, there could be a really large amount of, the pile up of information is there. The data is such huge that you just cannot extract it entirely. So for example, you can think of it as a coal mine. There's a coal pit. There's so much of coal that you extract it up partially, slowly, in a really chunk way, in small chunks. Then there is incremental extraction. So what you do is you take out certain data, and the other remaining data which is dependent on that, you later on extract it out. Okay, so for example, you might extract out a crude oil. So from crude oil, you first extract out the diesel because it's quite heavy. Then you extract out the petrol. Then you extract out the kerosene. Then you extract out the gas. Then you extract out the sulfur, which is the byproduct of it. So it's kind of incremental way. And then full extraction is just simple. Just there is one way, and you just bam. I just extract out entire data. Just being an expert. Okay, don't do that. It's useful in certain situation. And then again, there are some extraction tools. Again, there are processes in refinery. Why I'm taking this example, my friend works it. I studied in the environment of refinery, so being aware with these processes, so that's why this analogy, I just loved it. And now again, the last part, you have extracted out, you have done your all sort of things. The only thing which is now remaining is the optimizing, which is what exactly the maintenance of the entire plant, of entire structure, pipelines, your batch process. For example, you might sending data in batches, but in pipeline, you can think of it as train, the crude oil train, which consists of the oils, the petrol, the diesel, maybe the gas, and they are sending into batches. You're sending it partially. Then you could be the trucks of the gasoline, the petrol trucks, which consist of petrol, and you're sending them again in batches. So these are some of the optimizing way, making sure the pipes are working, gauges are working, fine tuner there. So just pretty common. You can read it. It's simple. There's nothing new into that. And I think that's it for this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.